I want to thank everybody for taking some time to be here. I spent the last few months not spending much time with the media, and so I'm guessing you guys are getting tired of seeing me all these times here in the last few weeks. It's an exciting day for Illinois basketball, for our athletic program, and certainly for me personally. I've done this athletic director thing now. This is my 7th year as an AD, and in all that time I've hired a number of head coaches. I've never had the opportunity to hire somebody who I'd worked with previously. And as you go through doing these jobs, you meet different people along the way. You start to assess skills and work ethic and motor and competitiveness. And this isn't just for coaches, it's for all our staff. And you start to make notes in the back of your mind. This is somebody I'd like to potentially work with again in the future. And when I left Washington University just over a year ago, I never knew if I'd have the opportunity to work with Nancy Fahey again, but I hoped that I would. I hope that I would. She's someone who makes everybody around her better, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to introduce her to you today, and for you all to have the chance to get to know her in the years ahead. She's truly a remarkable person. A couple words on our process. Again, we had unbelievable interest in this position, and as we should. Great university, great athletic program, tremendous facility across the street in State Farm Center. I first reached out to Nancy the day after her season completed. It was a Sunday, just a little bit less than 2 weeks ago. Talked to her about the role. She and I have stayed in contact. We never talked about this particular opportunity, and had a chance to talk with her about the job, about the program, and I was excited to learn that there was mutual interest, that there was an opportunity there to explore what this could look like in bringing her from a place where she had been for 3 decades here to Champaign-Urbana. Later that week, I had a chance to bring her here on campus, visit with a number of our staff members, and again, talk at greater length about the University of Illinois, women's basketball tradition that exists here. And then things have moved quickly from there. This was one of my my bigger selling jobs, if you will. It's hard to take someone who's been someplace for 30 years, who's had the kind of success that she's had, has built the kinds of relationships that she has built, and then to make a change like this one is not easy. And so I'm grateful to Nancy for her trust in us, for her vision for what University of Illinois women's basketball can be, and for making the decision to come be a part of the Illini family. We have an unbelievable opportunity here, and we need the right leadership, and I just could not be happier to welcome Nancy to Champaign. A couple words on her. I think her record speaks for itself. Over 730 career wins. She won 700 games, second fastest in the history of the game of basketball, behind that guy named Gino up at UConn, who's a pretty good coach himself. She's competed in 10 Final Fours, won 5 national championships, both Division III records. She is an 85% career winning percentage. She has already been inducted into several Halls of Fame, including being the first Division III coach to be inducted into the National Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in Tennessee. The reason she's here, though, and I think this is important, goes way beyond the record books. The thing that I saw from Nancy Fahey in the 2 years that we worked together was someone who has unbelievable people skills, who builds relationships with the student athletes in her program. She gets to know their hopes and dreams, their fears, what makes them tick. She connects with them on a very personal level, and what happens as a result of that is when she steps with them onto the court, she's able to push them to do things that they otherwise never thought they could do. She's competitive, she's intense. We've talked a lot about this word identity in my first 13 months here. You will recognize a Nancy Fahey team once you've watched them play. They will play hard. They will enjoy what they're doing. They will play together. It is remarkable, the leadership that she will bring to this program. And so it gives me great pleasure on a personal and professional level to introduce you to our new women's basketball coach. Quite simply, the best basketball coach I've ever seen, and now the head basketball coach of Illinois women's basketball, Nancy Fahey.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks for everybody to be here today. I appreciate that. I want to thank Chancellor Jones. I want to thank Josh Whitman. What an incredible opportunity, and I recognize that. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you how much I want to thank Washington University. I grew up there. I learned a trade there with incredible support from the administration. My colleagues were not just colleagues, they were friends, and they are friends. The supporters. But most importantly, I want to thank the alumni, the women's basketball team that are there, the ones that played before. I wouldn't be standing before you if it wasn't for them. And they will forever be in my heart at Washington University. Speaking of Washington University, 3 years ago, we hired somebody that everybody recognizes in this room, Josh Whitman. I had no idea what can happen in 3 years. But the one thing I knew at WashU and the one thing I know here is he's a man of vision. He's a man you can get behind because he'll do things the right way and with integrity, and that was incredibly important to me. After 31 years, as you mentioned, why? Why Illinois? And I was talking to someone last night, and I think the great question is, why not? What a great place. I met so many people last night, the courtsiders, the support, the excitement, the community. I know they'll get behind women's basketball. A chance. The group of people that I want to meet the most right now aren't here. They're in spring break and having a good time, and we've tried to talk to most of them, talking to the new recruits, because that's what makes me tick, is the players. That's why I do this. And I think they're excited. I really want to meet them face to face. We're doing that Monday. It's, as Josh alluded to, it's important to me to know these kids as people first, that chose a great academic school, that want to play at the top level, and that's what I wanted. I wanted that challenge. I want to be part of this. I want to be part of this family. You know, people talk about culture, and I think the culture is all boiling down to knowing them, and I want to know their hopes and dreams, and get to know them not just as a basketball player, but as people. People have often asked me, style of play. I want you to tell me the first coach that you run into at this level that doesn't say fast, and they want to play great D. Yeah, well, of course. But what I think it's really important is that I play to the strengths of this team, to play to the strengths of each of those kids, to find what their talents are. And that may take a few passes every once in a while, because I watched the games last night, and not everybody's doing layups. If we could give up layups all the time, this would be a great game and easy. So you have to be able to execute. And we're going to put that together, but I think you have to know the people you're working with first. And that's my intention. I also want the basketball alumni. I want our tradition. I want to know what came before, and I want to build on that and know those folks. And the community. I'm so excited. I'm from the Midwest. I'm from another state. Hope you can. Well, Wisconsin's a good state, but I get it. But I'm so excited to be part of your family. I've only been welcomed, and I'm looking forward to meeting all of you again at a more personal level. And with that, I'd like to say, go Illini. So, yes. Okay. Hi.
To go up some levels. You mentioned a little bit of why Illinois, but was it Josh a huge part of that, or was it just Big Ten Illinois?
Well, I think in the course of your life, I mean, we had won 4 national titles in a row, and I became very smart at that point after that, so I did look. You just have to have a lot of things come together in a career, and it wasn't the time. And, you know, we have had a lot of success at WashU, and I'm very, very proud of that. I'm a challenge-oriented person. I like challenges. I like having an opportunity to make an impact. Obviously, I think if you don't know what your leadership and where they're heading, I think that's a key. I know Josh, and I know his leadership, and I know the excitement. That's easy to follow. And Illinois itself, facilities, the community, the state. When I started in Illinois basketball, my first teaching job was in Johnsburg High School. And at the time, a ground rule double was in the cornfield, and I remember that community, and I had a chance to start that program. In my first season, I was 5-17. I went, welcome to Illinois high school basketball. And we were able to turn that program around, but my appreciation for the talent in the state and the tradition of women's basketball, it's not just one thing, and I love Josh, but this is a big picture. And so there's so many reasons, professionally, personally, but it's kind of interesting starting your college, your coaching career in high school and then ending up here. What a dream. Yes.
Hi, Nancy. Mark Tupper from Decatur Herald and Review. Looking at your roster and talking to your buddy Lori Kearns in Decatur, your roster at WashU doesn't look like a typical D3 roster to me. And Lori indicated the same thing. It appears that you've recruited more nationally than a lot of Division III programs may have. A, is that true? And B, did that help prepare you for this, perhaps? Exactly.
I think that the universities you go to usually, and it was a private institution, so what you do is you recruit to the student body. The student body it reflects that at Washington University. There are students from all over the country, so you also do the same thing. We've recruited at the national level. We've recruited regionally. So you're correct. It's a different roster than you would typically see at a Division III. We've had kids from New York to California to Texas. It's just the nature of the university.
Nancy, what do you think are the biggest challenges for this week?
I think that everybody's going to say that, at Division III, one, we did recruit. Okay, the difference is it's a Division I recruiting, and I'm fully aware of that. The one thing that I'm not afraid to do is ask questions, and I'm not afraid to put really strong people around me. This is not about me. This is about making Illinois basketball the best. And so what you want to do is you put yourself around people that know what you don't know as well and be willing to learn. And I am 100% a sponge when it comes to making myself better to make this program better. But you have to empower people around you, and you have to trust. And I'm not a person that you have to earn trust from. I'm going to trust you, and we can hopefully it only gets better. So I recognize that. Yes.
Jim Cotter, WGCY-FM. In your 31 years down at WashU, I know that you probably paid some attention to the Illinois program as well as other Division I programs around the state. Did you ever envision yourself leaving earlier for a Division I program, and did you ever consider Illinois, thinking maybe that was something that you were up for the challenge earlier in your career?
I think that, I'm a Big Ten kid. I played in the Big Ten a long time ago, but I played in the Big Ten, and I think you watch the team that whether it was Wisconsin at the time or Illinois, you watch the Big Ten. I was sitting 2 Sundays ago preparing for Wisconsin Oshkosh while I was watching Purdue in Maryland. It's just the nature of where you've come from. So I don't think my ego was ever like, wow, Yeah, I think I'm pretty in check. I think this is pretty humbling for me, and I'm really proud. But it was more from a point of following a conference that you were part of a long time ago. Hi.
I'm Mike Kuhn. I'm on games on the radio for you guys.
Okay.
I'm just curious, what coaches from a Division I standpoint you've had a chance to rub elbows with, and in terms of recruiting, how do you go about formulating a staff, considering you recruited to Division III and now you're recruiting to Division I?
Well, honestly, I did talk to a lot of coaches that made this kind of transition in the Division I level. There's several of them, Scott Ruick from Oregon State to Lisa Stone at SLU to Aaron Rossell at Bucknell. I don't want to, but I called several because I wanted to talk about their transition and everything, and they were extremely helpful. So those are friends of mine from a long time. So it was nice to talk, and I will continue to talk. As far as developing the recruiting, as I said before, this is a process, and I'm going to put myself around people that are familiar. I think the one thing to understand is we have recruited. Okay, it's not. Trust me, they just didn't show up at WashU. Okay, and it's just a different. Yes, it's going to be a different athlete and skill set. I get that, but it's not like I sat at my desk and people just walked in and said, "Let's go play basketball." So I'm confident that the culture and what I want what my best recruiters to be is the kids that are here. I'll be honest. I want to take care of them, and they understand how much and take so much pride that when another recruit comes on campus and talks to them, and because when you have kids talking to other kids about what this is about, that's not selling anything. That's telling them about a truth, and I want it to be the truth.
You have a roster that you lose one senior, so you've got everyone back. Have you had a chance to kind of figure out what what the team looks like?
You want an honest answer? I haven't even seen them play. I mean, I've seen them play, but gosh, we're going to meet Monday, and I want to have an open mind. They've played a certain way. They've done something. They've had a system. Well, I got to have an open mind and see them play and get on the basketball court and know them as people and develop something. But I think it'd be a little premature to go, okay, hey, I mean, I've watched them. I've seen them on Synergy. I've watched, but boy, it's a big difference until you get to meet them as people and sit down and let's develop a plan. Be patient. I'll be there, okay? I promise I'll have a plan, okay? There'll be a game plan and they'll know it.
Nancy, Brett Barron's CBS here in town. Did you think you'd retire at WashU?
Wow. I obviously not. I was all in. The one thing you're going to know about me, I was all in. I didn't really, I hadn't thought about necessarily retirement at this point. I think I got a little more juice in me yet. I want to work. I love coaching. So I hadn't really thought about, that part of my career yet. I knew I loved coaching. And, but I hope that if I didn't say that I was loyal to that place, I think that you wouldn't want me standing here. Does that make sense? If it didn't hurt, I don't think you want me standing here. Because then you're going to get that same person here. It's like when you make tough decisions with kids or, if it doesn't hurt you, if it doesn't feel something, you don't want me standing here. That's not the person you got.
Did the lawsuit a couple of years ago towards the women's basketball program here have any effect on you taking this job? Or how did you approach that one?
I approached it that I get to look forward. I understand it was tough, but I'm looking forward. And I think what really impresses me about all the kids here, I know they're looking forward. They came and they have to. We have a chance to do something. And I said something. My hope is 5 years from now, we're going to be talking about what this team did. And because they were looking forward. And I owe that to them right now. I owe those kids that. And I plan on giving it to them. They're not going to have to worry about 100% for me.
Nancy, Matt Daniels, News Gazette, welcome to town. Is this something that at the start of March you thought was possible?
No. I was trying to beat Wheaton, Oshkosh. I mean, I know you may not know all these schools, but, I was I lock in. I'm in the present, and the present was my program at that time at WashU.
Any other questions for Coach? Yeah, one more, Nancy. Josh said that he had to sell you in a sense, that for this job. What was his selling point to you? What things did he?
I think he overstated that. To be honest, I think that comment from Josh is his respect for where he worked for a while, where I worked for a long time, and I think you can love a place. I think I can love WashU. Can you let me do that, and love Illinois too, and let me look forward to that? But I don't. I think that's. I think that's the important thing that you can do that, and I hope you guys allow me that.
Okay, thank you, Coach. We'll do a quick photo op.
Thank you for coming today.